Oh, let's continue with that energy and vibration. I invite you to just take a nice deep breath, knowing that your breath is holy, because right here and right now we recognize that each and every individual is the beloved. So just for a moment, if your heart was activated by that amazing song by our musicians, if something was activated from that in you, it was activated because it is already living as you, as your very life, as the holy, as the divine. You cannot feel joy or peace or love or freedom or any of that unless it is already living itself as you, as the same joy and love, as the presence of the one source of all. And this is how spirit becomes conscious of itself as you. Know that as you take in this vibration of remembrance, perhaps from childhood or being a baby when we all knew the truth of who we are, as you take in this remembering of who you are and why you are on the planet, know that you are on the planet to be more joy, to be more love, and that giving away that energy that you have just received by passing it on, giving it back, you are absolutely living as the Holy Spirit itself. So breathing in and breathing out, this is the evidence of Spirit of God. Remember, God is just a word, so whatever it may be for you, but breathing in and breathing out, this is the evidence of God being activated in your consciousness, celebrating and being the living spirit that you are. Begin now to become aware of this truth. Begin to drop down inside that place where you are a divine center of universal God consciousness. And you are on the pathway. We're all on the pathway, a pathway of experience for the purpose of evolving. Whether we know it or not, we are evolving. So accept this morning that there is an urge in you that is trying to emerge as that light and as that love that you already are. Spirit wants to express itself in a greater expansion of you. So Spirit is moving upon Spirit this morning, and this is the starting point of all creation. Every time you conceive an idea, that is Spirit expressing itself as you, because it is eternal in, as, and through you. The immediate availability of the presence of Spirit is neither in the mountain, nor is it in the temple, or is it in the church. It is within you and me, and this awareness is called spiritual power, standing in the power of the truth of knowing. Spirit is not one. Spirit is one. Spirit is not two. It is perfect wholeness. Feel that for just a moment, that your life is the very life that God is that perfect wholeness. Let it permeate your very being. Let it saturate your mind and every cell in your body. For just a few moments, allow yourself to know that all is in order and that you are divinely guided in all that you do. This is where divinity and humanity meet, right here and right now. We do not come here to get anything. Let me remind you. We do not come here to get anything, and that's because everything is already contained in you as the living Spirit. That is your birthright. This is my birthright. You are here to download the kingdom of heaven just as you are right here and right now, because you have said yes. You are tuning in this morning because you said yes to life. You've said yes to evolving. You've said yes to the consciousness that already lives itself as you. So what this means is that we are all open and aware and ready to evolve. So realistically, welcome to the first day of the rest of your life. right? Because every day is a new day. And our theme this month is open to possibilities, and our weekly topic is living in the question, a high idea. I like that high idea part. Anyway, I used to in the old days. But anyway, open to possibilities. I love that. So what are we going for this month? This month we are going for visioning. We are going to be open to the highest idea of our lives through the spiritual practice of visioning. When we open ourselves, our soul, to the impress of spirit through visioning, it allows us to tap into a realm of possibilities much greater than we can even begin to imagine for ourselves. Our lives are transformed and expanded when we live in and from the question. The question being, what is Spirit's highest idea of its self as my life? What is the universe's highest idea of itself as my life? You know, I often say that if you believe you have all the answers, you're not asking the right question. So, what is visioning? It is a direct revelation as individualized expressions of the one mind. We have access to the infinite wisdom and intelligence of the ultimate reality of the one source. It flows through us, to us, and as us, to the degree that we set our previous ideas aside and become conscious of the impress of universal spirit, the one mind. Keep in mind that direct revelation is available to us through our intuition and can be intentionally cultivated through visioning. Visioning, you see, consciously opens us to be receptive to the impress of universal spirit. Regardless of what we think visioning is, or regardless of what we're getting when we're doing visioning, remember that it is the impress of spirit because we are allowing ourselves to be open. It is the practice of cultivating the field of consciousness and illuminating what wants to emerge into form without any preconceived ideas or limitations. Visioning has a specific methodology which can be used individually or in a group. And if you were tuning in a couple of weeks ago when we were the closing center for the International Conference for CSL, you heard both Rainbow and myself talk about what visioning did for us. It was all about visioning. So it can be individual, it can be collective. The Ahava Core Council visions together the first Wednesday of each month for the highest good of Ahava. Now, there's a difference between visioning and visualization, which some people confuse. You can only visualize that which you already know. Let me say that again. You can visualize only that which you already know, while visioning is a receptive state to catch a vision for your life outside of your current awareness and understanding of yourself. Visioning is all about asking the question. For me, it might sound like, universe, who am I here to be in order to express more oneness in the world? Universe, who am I here to be in order to express more oneness in the world? Living in the question invites us to listen from a different place, beyond the ego mind, to that which is seeking to express itself as us. In other words, are you asking the universe for what you want Or are you open to receive the fullness of life that is being called forth as you? Let me break this down some more. Science of mind first talks of God as the all in all, and that we are one with and inseparable from it. One of the things that I really loved about the earlier foundations classes is that the first core concept laid it out plain and simple when it basically says, God is the totality of everything there is, and we are one with it. Doesn't get much simpler than that. Even our first two steps of prayer treatment start with recognition, the awareness and acknowledgement of the all-pervading power and presence of God. And unification, which is the second step, is our oneness in, through, and as the living expression of this one source that I'm speaking about. Now, I do believe that our true teachings are actually a mystical tradition, steeped in the awareness of this oneness and allness of spirit, of God, of the universe. But some of us, I'm not going to mention any names, but some of us like to be in control. However, hear me when I say the only real control that anyone ever has in their life is if they have consciously anchored themselves in their oneness with the divine. I have control over whether I acknowledge my connection to the infinite. We all do. And this needs to be the true emphasis of our teachings. To go straight to, you can control your life, or you can have anything you want through visioning, is pop metaphysics and not really our true truth teachings. Dr. Holmes writes in the Science of Mind text, we do not teach that you can get what you want. He says that would be disastrous because it is certain that most would want things that interfere with the well-being of someone else or themselves. He goes on to write that we must become more if we wish to have more. In other words, we must become the living spirits we were ordained to be in order to have real, meaningful control of our lives in such a fashion that serves the well-being of all. We're not only here to serve ourselves, but the well-being of all. And Dr. Holmes further writes, true prayer must be, thy will be done. But the implication relative to the will of God in this prayer is not a submission to the inevitability of evil or limitation. It is a knowledge that the will of God is always good. This is where visioning comes in. It is a spiritual practice, a tool to move us to a mystical consciousness of our oneness in, through, and as the infinite, and to a state of surrender to the will of the universe, to the will of God, to the will of Source. God's divine idea and vision with us, and that is always good. It is the transcendence of any state of duality or separation. It is the transcendence of any state of duality or separation. Because there is only one power and one presence, the one source back of all things. And so knowing that there is only one life, this life must be who I am, who we are. Therefore, I have the ability, I have the intelligence, I have the knowingness to allow this infinite wisdom to express through me by living in the question, what is Spirit's highest vision of itself as me? Say that to yourself. What is Spirit's highest vision of itself as me? And living from a place of curiosity and remaining open and willing to receive Spirit's highest vision of itself, expressing through any situation or condition or experience, allows us to live and act from a place of divine guidance in order to create heaven on earth. And we all know, or most of us do, that heaven is a state of mind. So what is Spirit's highest idea of my life? Are you willing, and do you have the deep desire to invite something greater within to guide you? Are you willing to be surprised about what you discover about yourself? Everything is for our learning and growth. And are you open? Are you willing to be more interested in your spiritual growth than advocating for your limitations? This is how we evolve. And this is how we all evolve together. This is how we all reach into our souls and expand through curiosity, remaining open to experience a shift of perspective, a new awareness, or even a heightened experience of life. So many people are seeking a heightened experience of life, when it's right here. It's already right here. And as we open up to this possibility, we can embody a heightened experience of life. So are you willing to see a world in which every person lives in alignment with their highest spiritual principle, emphasizing unity with God and a connection with each other? How many times do I say we belong to each other? We are connected in ways we are just now beginning to understand, not only as human beings, but the planet and everything on it. A world in which individually and collectively we are called to a higher state of consciousness and action. And action. So, and why do we do this? I mean, what's it all for? What's it all about, Alfie? You know, what's it all for? What, the collective evolution, moving beyond the conditioned thinking of scarcity and fear and separation, allows us, you see, to tap into cosmic consciousness, to catch Spirit's highest vision for our lives and our part in the evolution of humanity. We all have a part in this because we're all in it together. We're not just here to manifest our personal desires. We are called in such a time as now, as this, to awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence. We have an opportunity as spiritual beings to awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence. We are here to be a part of the collective evolution and awakening. Visioning is a powerful practice to lead us on this journey to awaken to infinite possibilities, for revealing the beloved community and consciously creating a world that works for everyone. Sometimes it can feel overwhelming. I have a responsibility in all of this. We all do. So this week, I invite you to get quiet. Ask a higher question. Live in a state of curiosity and remain open to possibilities to experience a life beyond your wildest imaginations. That life that works in alignment with the highest good for all. Because Dr. Holmes said, through spiritual discernment, we see that we have a power which is greater than anything we shall ever contact. A power that can overcome every obstacle in our lives. God's creative power, the universe's creative power, the one mind is right here, right now. And so we have as much of this power to use as we believe in and embody. The storehouse of nature is filled with infinite good, awaiting the touch of our awakened thought to spring forth into manifestation in our lives. What we are seeking is seeking us. So, what is God's grandest divine idea of me? Say that with me. What is God's grandest divine idea of me? Be open and receptive and let it flow. Let's go into prayer. As I get quiet, dropping down to that place, that space within, where I know that there is only one power in presence, creating out of itself only what is like itself, only what it knows. I know this power and presence as the one life connecting all. I know it as limitless. I know it as infinite possibilities. I know that the power and the presence that I speak of is love. It is freedom. It is peace. It is joy. It's all of these things. And I know that the truth of spirit is simply the truth of me. That all that I speak of, all of these infinite possibilities, also lives as me. For I am one as the very life that God is. I am the same love and oneness and freedom and joy and peace and love, abundance and prosperity, and infinite possibility. As I know this to be the truth of me, I know it's the truth of Ahava. The whole community of Ahava. Every soul is a divine idea in the mind of God. And even beyond this community itself, it is the truth of everyone. So it is from this place of knowing, from this place of truth where I lie upon the altar of grace, of truth, speaking my word, knowing it is simply Spirit speaking itself as me. As I know Spirit to be love, as I know it to be freedom, I know that this love shows up in, through, and as all people at Ahava, for this community. I know absolutely right here and right now that there is neither a monopoly or competition in spirit. Therefore, all are welcome at Ahava, and all are welcome to come as they are, knowing their perfection as who they are, regardless of any experience or regardless of any lack or limitation. The perfection spiritually lives in, through, and as each and every person. And I know right here and right now, as I sit in the quiet, as I stand in the quiet of the one power and one presence, as it flows in, through, and as me, I know absolutely that each and every individual is a unique manifestation and gift as spirit, as love, as all of humanity. And I know spirit shows up. I know that spirit is always available. Always available. There's no busy line to God. For God, the universe is always answering. And so I know that whatever is unfolding in each and everyone's life, that God is always right where we are. The indwelling presence, the indwelling light of the one, the indwelling flame in our heart that continues to burn and burn and cannot ever be extinguished. Therefore, as I practice love every day, I remain open to the possibilities. And I declare and anchor that in for each and every soul in this community, that love is indeed the answer in a world that works for everyone. And so it is with a grateful heart I give thanks. I give thanks to know this truth. I give thanks to know that all who are within the sound of my voice, that spirit, that action is already moving in and through and as each and every person, as this community. And that lives are being changed. And love is embodied. And so I take these words, my words, God's words, and release them into that perfect universal law, knowing that the law always says yes. It always says yes. Say it with me. It always says yes. I stand in the power and the glory of yes, the place of grace, by saying Shalom, Hamdalela, Ashe, Namaste. And so it is.